Hi everyone, Polly from Team Element Gaming here. Today we're going to be going over some basic land placement. And the first thing I just want to briefly touch on before we go into just the placing the land is what kind of deck you're playing. So I'll just go with the real basics. Say if we're playing a yellow rush deck like this one here, where we just want to be hit in the face, we're going to be placing our lands aggressively down the centre. Firstly, and on the alternative, if you're playing say a control deck, so maybe a control yellow deck, you're going to be placing your lands closer to your opponent, your wells, because you want to be gathering the Faeria from those and beating the opponent in a longer game. So the land placement for different decks is different, and if you're placing your lands in the same manner in all your decks, you're probably placing them wrong, because you need to be placing them in different spots depending on what you have and also what your opponent is playing. So we're going to play against the AI for some of these, just to explain some of the concepts. So we'll just pick, I think the opponent plays pretty aggressive in here, so we'll just take the Kobold Empire type as an aggressive player. We'll just play our control red deck to kind of show you that. So we draw an opening hand here, and the first thing you want to look at is your hand a good hand for the deck you've played. So if you're playing an aggressive deck and you draw 3 choking sands, for instance, and you're playing yellow rush, you want to be redrawing and getting creatures. So this hand for a control isn't too bad. We have got one kind of gatherer / anti-aggro card here. We've got a bomb slinger. It's not a great hand, but we're going to keep it for the keep it here. And it's also as you might be playing similar people on the ladder, and you might know what deck they play, and that's going to influence how you play your lands anyway. So as we're playing a control deck and we've got a slow hand here, we're going to be placing our lands to the 2 sides here. Trying to gather Faeria from these wells is going to be the main point of this. Okay, let's get rid of those dots. Right. Okay, and we end our turn. Holding on to the flame spitter here, we might be able to deal 1 damage to say your opponent's playing a fairy or a village elder or farm boy. But it looks like he's coming towards us, so now we know what his game plan is. So what we want to be doing now is taking this square is very important, because we've expanded this way. We want to take this land, try and gather as much Faeria as we can, and get an advantage that way as he's coming towards us. And also we want to make sure we can try and control this well over here as well. So these 2 are the main flanks we want to control, and the reason is we want to extend the game out long enough to stop his aggression, and then use the Faeria advantage to win us in the mid game or the late game here. Let's get rid of those. Okay, so we play our second land here. Do note we do only need one red land for this, so you could think of playing 2 neutral lands here, but I'm going to play another red land here because we might need to use a bomb slinger or something, or some of our later game creatures. So we end the turn, and this is a really important turn in the game. And normally when you're playing against rush, the computer hasn't done it the normal way. Normally people open with this square as a desert or a red land, and then what they do from there is make 2 neutral lands here, and then they decide whether they want to go this side to the face or to the other side. Okay, and it looks like, so he's pushing down the middle here, and we have to decide now whether we are playing an extra red land for a bomb slinger maybe, or playing our ogre here. But the main thing I want to talk about is we want to control these 2 squares here also. And we can place our red land down here, and now we've got 3 red lands, and we can play all our creatures, which is good for the defense, and we're collecting the Faeria. So he has to kill us, or else he's going to lose in the longer game. So say for instance I just play my barbarian ogre down here for defense, so I've got someone on each side, and this is the turn normally when your opponent decides whether they build right down here with 2 neutral lands, or play a desert here, or neutral lands either side. So the computer's done it in a slightly wonky fashion, but normally you're going to see a desert here in this square, or a red land, 2 neutral lands here, and normally your opponent is not going to play here. He's probably going to either neutral these 2 squares here, or he can also neutral that square, neutral this square, with double neutral here or double neutral here. So he's decided to play, and now he's done that. Normally the rush player is trying to take advantage of whichever side you haven't gathered from, and what you need to make sure you do is not let them build their desert here, where they can use a haste creature, gather from the well, and attack your orb. So this square is super important, and this square, to stop them using a haste creature to gather the Faeria, and then you're not gaining any advantage from defending and gathering here. Okay, so just undo that. So we know this square is super important, and we've got our 3 red lands down here. So what you want to maybe think about is, if you're playing like a monocolor, we don't need any more red lands here. So what we can do to take advantage of this is play some neutral lands to defend, and also kind of limit his options of summoning creatures near our face in these 3 squares here. Okay. So you decide whether you want to play a square here, whether you want to kind of sneak over here to gather extra. So playing 1 here is okay, but the opponent needs to play 1 land to get in on us here. So we've got a defense here, so maybe we want to either defend here or play some neutrals here. So you can either one of these squares is dependent on what your opponent's doing and where he's moved his lands, because normally this land would be here or here. So depending on where he's moved, you want to place your square concurrently. So say he's took this square here, what we want to do is take this square here with our second neutral probably. So we take our second neutral here, he'd have his here, and he'd have to make a desert here to attack, or here. So if we kind of stay here, we can move over, defend, gain mana with this creature, and we kind of want to defend our wells, gather as much as we can in between the turns, and then fight his rush off, defend your orb, and then as the game goes on, what you need to be doing is, say you've held the rush off and it's going well, they're going to be building mostly lands just down here, and then just +1 or drawing cards to try and rush you down. So what you want to try and do is get your neutral lands, and it's hard to show on this one because the opponent's done weird stuff, but you probably want to get your neutral lands up here and place mountains here and put your own pressure on. So you place your mountains up here or up this side, because it's normally going to be right down the middle here, and then you place your creatures near his wells over here and put counter pressure on while defending with some creatures here. And then he has to decide whether to defend or try and finish you off. That's normally how the rush games are going to go. And I'll quickly, because I can see this video is actually taking a lot longer than I expected, quickly explain the counter argument. So say we are playing a rush deck, we are playing our yellow rush deck here, and I'll explain what kind of land placements you want to do when we're playing that. So we are playing against, well, so used to clicking the wrong thing, right, solo. We'll play against, I know this blue player plays a kind of control blue game, so he kind of builds the lands where an opponent might, so we'll use this AI for this one. Okay, so let's see. Opening hands, it's good to have this in your opening hand. It's quite good when you can get a haste creature, but we've got no creatures, so we want to redraw this and gain an Erodrin Monk or a Kalim's Follower. We've got a Wind Soldier and a Death Walker, and that's a good combination to So this blue player is gone for 2 neutral lands to this side, which is quite unusual. Didn't expect that, but anyway, we'll play our first. You want to always be placing your desert here, first of all. You never want to be placing the desert here to gather, as your deck is aggressive, so you always want to be placing that one in front there. Okay, we'll end our turn. We don't need to use the explore yet, so it's best to keep it to see what the opponent's doing. So the opponent has gone, I don't know what he's doing. He did not do this when we played, but anyway, your next 2 lands are normally always going to be going Prairie here, and if you want, you can use your explore here, and your opponent probably will have lands here and here over here. So you can use your explore now or wait. I think because of how this opponent's built, we'll use our explore here, and we want to be moving over to this side and trying to gain. This square is really important for us, so we can use our Rodrin Monk, haste in and attack, and he's controlling this side of the world, so that's not as important for us now. So we'll end our turn, and hopefully we can build a desert. We'll do a desert next, and I'll show you kind of what thing we're doing. Right, so opponent's got no idea what he's doing. AIs did not do this when I played, but that's sod's law, I guess. So your 2 choices here are to double neutral here possibly and play desert here next turn, or play a desert here and just go for the attack and the draw here. So depending on if your opponent has minions here or he has squares, normally he's going to be having the squares a normal opponent will have. We'll do this first. Would be this square, and they're gathering over here trying to gain that advantage, and he's probably put pressure. He's got this square here, and this is the square we need to fight for here. So you either put in your desert here or here. So we're going to place our desert here, and you always want to be using your draw creatures first to see what you gain. And you could also think of, and then you can use combinations to, you want to be moving them out of the way and trying to do as much damage as you can quickly. So we're ignoring his creatures probably, unless there's a really favourable trade we need to take, hit in the face, and just keep putting the pressure on here. So our Wind Soldier dies at the end of the turn, so our opponent is got no idea what he's doing, but we'll just ignore that for now. That's a bit of a shame. I didn't do this last game. So we talked about this square being really important here. So what you can do here is play to control this square. You can play, your opponent would have probably have a creature here already, or square, sorry. So your opponent's probably will have these two. Let's undo all these quickly. I'm aware this video is taking longer than I thought. It's probably got these 2 squares here and probably this square, like 95% of the time, say. So we probably want to be building our desert here and using our haste creatures to gather the well and then push down the face this side. And there's normally going to be a square 100% of the time, so we can gather and attack. And then we want to be putting on as much pressure as you can. Your opponent will normally have a square here, so you can either move your creatures over here and attack, or trade to get more hits in with your larger creature, etc. But that's the basic strategy you need to be using with your rush decks. One thing your opponent will do is if they kind of hold off your rush and it's kind of stabilizing a bit, they probably will build lands up here anyway and play creatures here. So your 2 choices is keep hitting the face with everything you've got, or put pressure on, but maybe you sacrifice this creature here, so you can defend their attack and kind of draw the game out a little bit longer, so you can try and eke in the damage or draw into more like burn creatures like Maleficent Spirit, or play your bigger Zealous Crusaders and try and finish it that way. So I hope this short guide, it took longer than I expected, it's been helpful. We're going to do some more videos on land placement and some deck guides and kind of current meta decks and how to improve your win rate and ways to improve your gameplay. So I'm going to be producing videos of that nature with by myself, and also members of Team Element are going to jump in and do some dual videos with me, and so that's going to be good to get 2 ideas in there. If there are any videos you are really interested in watching, say you want to watch the process of deck building, how to start with a deck, what cards you need to make a good deck, how to balance it, how to craft things, is it worth getting a rare card or a legendary card if you can craft or disenchant one, etc. So if any ideas for videos you'd like to see, put them in a link below the video here, or catch me on my stream, which is twitch.tv/POLI_, which you can find below. Message me on Discord or below the video here, and I'll try and produce some videos if they're popular with your requests in. So thanks very much for watching. There's going to be a lot more videos coming up from Team Element, and I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments, constructive or the opposite, if you think there's something I missed, please let me know and I'll try to improve in the future. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys soon.